Something I noticed a while ago that I couldn't quite explain at the time. Someone told me about a difficult event in their life. And while they were saying it, they seemed calm. Almost matter of fact. They explained what happened, answered questions, even smiled once or twice. Then, a few weeks later, something completely ordinary happened. A song came on, they walked past a familiar place, someone asked a simple question, and suddenly, ooh, the emotion arrived. So it made me wonder whether feelings sometimes travel at a different speed to the events that created them. We often imagine emotions arriving immediately. We expect sadness to follow loss, relief to follow good news, anger to follow unfairness. Sometimes they do, but not always. Life has a way of asking us to keep moving. There's work to do. There's meals to cook, children to collect, phone calls to answer. Responsibilities don't always pause just because something important has happened. So we carry on. Not because we aren't affected, but because in that moment, carrying on feels necessary. Then one ordinary Tuesday, with nothing particularly different about it, everything catches up. You hear a voice, you open a drawer, you find an old receipt, or you drive past a place that you haven't seen in a long time. That feeling that seemed absent quietly takes its seat beside you. Not because it's new, because it's finally found enough space. And I've wondered whether this happens more often than we realize. Not only after grief, after change, after children move out, after leaving a job, or after a relationship ends, even after something wonderful happens. Sometimes we don't fully experience a moment until life slows down enough for us to notice what it meant. When I finished my degree in counseling and coaching, I was so relieved. Oh, no more lectures, no more assignments. Oh, yes. Whew. Oh, what a relief. And I'm sure some of you can relate to, when you finish a course of studying or a training program for work, there's that relief that you have. Then a few months later, one of my lecturers checked in on me and sent me an email. And it was when I opened that email that I realized, wow, that course really meant a lot to me. But I didn't have that emotional response at the point of finishing the course. So that reminds me that emotions don't always work to our timetable. I don't think delayed feelings are a sign that, we've ignored something. Or sometimes they could be a sign that we've survived it first. When life is demanding, our attention naturally goes towards what needs doing next. There's wisdom in that. It's one of the ways human beings keep functioning during difficult periods. The difficulty comes when we assume that because we didn't feel something immediately, we'll never feel it at all. One of the quiet skills in life is recognizing that emotions don't always ask for permission before they arrive. Woo! You ever have them flashbacks when you listen to that song or you smell that certain thing or you smell a certain food and you just getting emotionally flooded with memories and sometimes good and sometimes not so good. So sometimes they rarely check whether the time is convenient. They simply appear when something inside us is ready to pay attention. And I've become less interested in asking, why am I feeling this now? And more interested in asking, what is this feeling trying to help me notice? Those questions lead to very different conversations with ourselves. Sometimes we often give ourselves deadlines that our emotions never agree to. Emotions will do what it wants to when it wants to, yeah? I should be over this by now, or I shouldn't still feel like this, or I thought I'd moved on. Compared with a calendar, those thoughts make sense. But compared with being human, ooh-wee, I'm not sure they always do. Because some experiences become part of us gradually. Understanding them can take some time. So making peace with them is a good option to possibly exercise. If a feeling arrives later than you expected, it does not mean you've gone backwards. It could simply mean you're finally reaching a place where your mind no longer has to stay busy enough to hold it at a distance. And there's quite a difference between something being forgotten and something patiently waiting to be understood. Maybe that's why some ordinary moments become unexpectedly emotional. Not because they created the feeling, because they finally gave it somewhere to land. I'll leave that thought with you. Until next time.